Well, good evening. Guess what? It's the first Tuesday of the month, and that means it's photo reviews. So we're going to do that tonight, and we're going to look at got a lot of great images to look at tonight. Hopefully you submitted some of yours and you're watching, but if not, this will be on the replay. You can check out the work that you submitted. And of course, as always, this is not about likes. We look at this from an artistic standpoint, composition, things like that. And I will give you real world input on how to make your images better. Good evening, I'm Lee Love, and this is, as I said, Photo Mentor TV, and we do this we do this every Tuesday at 8 p.m. We are on a little bit of hiatus right now because I'm working on some other projects, but I did want to go ahead and not miss the photo reviews because I really enjoy doing that, and I know you guys look forward to it. So I want to make sure that we got that in as well this week. So anyway, so check out with us. I've got about 85 or so. I think this is show number 88 this week. So check out and go to YouTube, and appreciate if you'd subscribe. That'd be great. Very helpful there. And you can go to youtube.com/photomentortv and check out some of the other episodes that we've had available there. So anyway, again, tonight is photo review night. This is where we do. We look at your work. I'll give you some feedback on it. Got a lot of great images, by the way, tonight. A lot of different images, which is nice. And of course, the other thing we do on the first Friday of the month is we award, or I recognize somebody as Photo Mentor Artist of the Month, and we'll be doing that at the end of the show as well. This is somebody that I believe has shown artistic ability, motivation, a lot of different things. There's a lot of criteria there. It's not anything one thing specifically, just an overall impression and motivation that the person, I believe, has toward learning photography. So anyway, let's see. I guess that is probably, I think that's about it. Again, you probably saw this if you're at the beginning there. This is a quote I'd like to bring up. This is one of my favorite ones by Ansel Adams. Says, "There's nothing worse than a sharp image of a fuzzy concept." And the reason I love that quote is because it really goes to the concept or the storytelling of an image. In other words, I see there's a lot of people on these Facebook groups and different places that are all into the technology, what I call the bits and bytes and techno babble and ISOs and exposure triangles, but their pictures may be technically really nice, but so what? I mean, there's no story there. There's no emotion there, and that's really the most important thing in any photo. So I should probably mention to you tonight that the way I do these reviews is I use the 7 elements of art and design to try and give you a rough idea of where I think you can improve. And these are lines, shape, form, space, texture, value, and color. And if you are not familiar with these, I encourage you to look into them. There are a number. I should post a link in here in the comments. I'll try and do that after the show. But there's at least 3, I know maybe more, but at least 3 episodes of where if you go onto the YouTube channel and search on learning to see like an artist, there's a 3-part series there where I go into some detail on these items, and they'll help you understand about how this works. Also, I would encourage you to sign up for our newsletter. You can do that by going to photomentoracademy.com /newsletter. Very creative, huh? And innovative. Or you can go to the main page and just put your name and email in there. But what that will do is that will also sign you up for the newsletter. And the reason I mention it is that this latest issue number 6, I believe it is all about learning to see like an artist, and basically introduction to these 7 elements. And we're going to expand on that later on in an upcoming issues of the newsletter. So hats off to Sue Ann for her work in that area. Done a great job. So anyway, let's see. I think that's enough of my babbling here. So let's see here. Let's get into the first review. And let's see. And by the way, I want to say hello to everybody that's watching. It looks like Brian's on here and Sue Ann's on here. Hello, Allie. And always good to see you guys on here. Thanks very much for your support and for joining me. Okay, so the first image, let me bring up my notes here. I appreciate you guys, by the way, giving me this information. So when I ask you to submit information on these things, there's a form you can go to. You can go to review.photomentor.tv, and it'll take you to the form to fill out and to submit your own work. You can submit it any time you want, by the way. You don't have to do it today or tonight. But anytime after today, then I'll look at that and I'll add that to next month's reviews. So the first one, and by the way, I do these anonymously, so nobody's embarrassed. That's why I do that, to encourage you to, doesn't matter what kind of camera you're using, doesn't matter if it's a phone, doesn't matter how long you've been shooting. That's not the important part. Okay, the important part is the image and what you're trying to say. So this first one is from OT. OT's been shooting about 5 years, and they say that they only shoot for family and friends, which is fine. That's great. And I know sometimes I talk about the business aspect of it, and that's just because that's my background, but that doesn't mean that you should do this professionally. And working on confidence, aren't we all? and I tell you, OT, that's really the whole purpose of this, is to help build you confidence. I want your confidence to be increased by that. That's the whole idea behind what I'm doing here, and why I want to mentor more photographers, so that you do have more confidence in your own work. So, her friend had a baby and asked her to take some pictures of the family, and she said yes, because she needed some practice. And she said this is the first time she was photographing a small baby, and loved every minute of it. So let me tell you, there's some really good things going on with this image. A couple things you want to watch for, but you've done a pretty good job here, I think. So the first thing is there's good the first thing I want to comment on is that you've really gotten down low at their level, which is nice, because a lot of times that's not the case. People don't shoot at eye level, and they miss that part, and that definitely ruins the image. So you've gotten down at a low level, which is really nice. And so I think that's a great idea, and you've done that, and that's very helpful. So anyway, so that's the first thing, is that you've gotten down at eye level. The eye level is a very important element in photography, because you may not be aware of it, but just 6 inches will make a big difference. In fact, I'm going to show you some other images here in a minute. I'm going to show you where they've shot at a lower eye level, some where they think they needed to, based on what you're trying to get across. But the point is, the first thing you did really well here is by shooting at eye level. That really makes a big difference, because it allows, why it was important, because it allows the viewer to connect to the subject. It doesn't matter if it's a cat or a dog or a squirrel or a baby. You want to be at that eye level if you want the person to connect with that subject. So you did a really good job in doing that. So I'd say that as far as, let's see here, bring up my So I think that's really good there. Also, that kind of also the fact that you've got some values going on here in the color, not in color, but in black and white. Okay. That also has some ideas there. The one thing that I would watch for, the only thing that bothers me about this picture, really more than anything, is that the arm, the right arm there would be nice if that right arm was a little bit forward, or you could see that other arm because it does make it look a little bit strange. But there is some lines there, you know. Again, the arm in the front kind of draws you a little bit to the child, which is good, and that gives a little bit of depth as well. You've got a nice background going on there. It's not too bright. That's another mistake a lot of people make, is the background's too bright compared to the foreground. You want to try and, if you can, find a darker background, because that makes the subject stand out more. But the fact that you've got the background a little bit darker there, it's blurred, of course, makes it nice. So anyway, good job on this image right here. Watch that arm though. Try and get that arm out there again, and see if that'll help a little bit. I'm sure they love the picture, but that would be one suggestion I would make in improving this image. Another thing I want to mention to you, though, I should probably tell you, is that you'll find that when I do reviews on these images, unless you ask me, I typically don't go into. There are two areas I typically don't go into. One is the technical aspects. And why is that? I mean, that's what everybody else does, right? Well, the reason is because it's so easy to fix. In other words, let's say it's a little bit overexposed. Okay, I can teach you how to do that. It's not a big deal. Those kinds of things are really, really easy to fix. So I don't put too much emphasis on the technical aspects in these reviews. Although, if you ask me to, you want me to comment on them, I can give you some feedback on that kind of stuff as well. It's easy. But because it's so easy to fix, I don't spend a lot of time helping you in that area. But if you do want that, I'd be glad to do it. The second thing I don't spend much time on is the toning or the color. And the reason is that's so personal. Okay, people say, oh, photography or art is so subjective. Well, it is subjective, but there are some rules as well. Okay, but when it comes to color or toning and what you're trying to get across, unless it doesn't match what you're trying to say, in other words, if you had a really nice, woman that was depressed and sad and sorrow in front of a window, and it was all warm and sunny and bright, then the toning wouldn't really work. So that's an example where I would maybe make a comment. But generally speaking, I don't talk about presets or toning because of that very issue. It's very subjective in what you're trying to communicate. So anyway, that's the deal on that. I hope that helps a bit. Now, this is also from OT. And OT says her grandson found a frog, and before decided to let it go, decided it would be a good opportunity to practice my macro and close-up photography. And also, she said kill two birds with one stone. And I had to challenge another photographic group to photograph a teacup. I think this is an excellent photo. This is one of my favorites that you've submitted. I think there's not much I can really comment on in this regard. I think it does hit the lines. I think it does hit the shape. I think it does hit color, and the composition is very, very good on this. So I think this is you nailed this one real. I could be real picky on it if I wanted to, and say maybe just a little bit of cutting off of the cup or the saucer on the left-hand side, but yeah, it's not really that big a deal. The main thing is my eye goes directly to the frog. The cup makes it kind of a juxtaposition where it's kind of doesn't go together, which is something that I think works in a lot of cases. So I think this is a good image. I think I can encourage you to continue this kind of work and that concept of taking two things that don't go together, the frog and the saucer. Maybe might be kind of cool I know it's hard because the frog might have been jumping around. It's not easy to do, but like a spoon in the background there would have been really neat as well, because just to kind of show that it was more of a cup and saucer. But anyway, good job on this one. I really like it. Nice job, OT. Keep this up. Okay, let's see here. Hello, Heidi, by the way, and also Dusty. Nice to see you guys. Thanks for joining me. Okay, so the next one is, now this is an interesting series that's coming up here. And I'll tell you why. And the next one's the one that I'll tell more. So, okay, so this one here, this was a shoot that PS submitted. PS has been shooting about 3 or 4 years, and it was a styled shoot. Very, very well done, by the way. The styling and the wardrobe was very, very nice. I'll comment on that in a minute. An OT or PS was a second shooter, and it was kind of divide and conquer. There were 5 women they were photographing, and this is one that PS shot. Nice job on this one. The interest. Now, this is one of the things I really love about why you guys submit these and why you leave a comment. Why it's important, because a number of people will submit a photo but no comment. And that's okay. You don't have to, but it helps me understand what you're trying to do with the image. So if I don't know where you're going, then it's a little more difficult for me to determine whether you've accomplished that or not. But anyway, so the comment here was they're trying to convey a message that cowgirls are tough, with grit. They can be pretty at the same time, but not all cowgirls are barrel racers. Excellent idea. I totally get that. As a young man and a teenager, we had horses. I used to go to barrel racing and that kind of stuff. So I'm familiar with this genre of the sport. So anyway, yes, totally agree with what you're trying to do there. The problem, I think, is not problem, but let me back up a second. First of all, I think you definitely nailed the lines, okay? And I think you definitely nailed the shape. I think those are good there. I think you've got good texture in the background there, and we're using the fence. And you could probably even say there's some decent color in there, the way the styling is and the fence color. So I think those work in my regard, but definitely the lines and the shape are probably the strongest elements in this photo. But here's some suggestions. Now, look, everybody, I hate doing this sometimes because I don't know your situation. I don't know what the setup was, how much time you had. But if I think you've done a pretty good job of trying to make them look tough but yet feminine. And I applaud that. And that's primarily because of the pose. Great job on the posing, the foot there, the same foot on each one there, or their left, I guess it would be their right foot, both up there. Is that right? Yeah. No, one will be right, one will be left. Anyway, so I think the poses are great and they work really well. So I think this is what I would call the money shot. That it's going to work. No problem there. Nothing you need to do any differently there. I will say you might. Let me go over here. See if I can bring this up if I've got this for you here. Yeah, here we go. Sorry about this. I didn't. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so one of the things you might want to do here, people know I'm really big on this, is I'm trying to get the attention on the subject. So I'm not sure how much of the fence works or tells them that they're, I don't know, you tell me, are they still cowgirls based on that? Might want to take, bring this out just a little bit more so it's symmetrical. Yeah. You can still tell they're cowgirls. Okay, I think they still look tougher. In fact, it actually works a little better in my opinion because you get more of the expression. Styling, again, very, very good on the styling. So this is a money shot. I would say this is what I would go with, what the client is looking for. Now, get a little crazy here. If you wanted to experiment, a couple things you could do. I don't know if you noticed or not, but here, this fence over here, see if I can paint over here with this fence. Okay. So you got this fence. This is the opening of the fence. This looks like the hinges here, okay? So this fence would swing open, and a suggestion that I would make is just, so let me back up. Here's what I generally do on a shoot like this. I get the money, when I say the money shot, I get something the client will live with. And this is the kind of thing they're asking for. And this shot definitely does that, no problem. So you're good there, you could have stopped there. What I would do, though, is I like to try and shoot something I call for myself. I experiment a little bit. Let's play a little. Hey, you got a few minutes? Can we try something? Sometimes they'll do it. Sometimes they won't. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. But I always try, if nothing else, whether the client wants it or not, I do it because it gives me something maybe I want for my portfolio. So what I would have done in this image, here's a suggestion next time. I would have taken that fence and I'd have opened it up. Okay, and I'd have brought the edge of that fence just like this, and I'd have put one of them on each side of that fence. Okay, so now you're looking right down the edge of the fence. Okay, and you've got one woman on one side, one woman on the other side, and they're kind of leaning against it. And that fence in the middle would have divided the image. They'd have been on either side, and I think that might have also done the same thing for it. It might have been a little stronger because now you've got this fence in the middle that would have driven their look right to the center of them. And anyway, just an idea, something I was thinking of on this thing. That's an idea I would have worked on as something for myself or an experiment. Like I said, they don't always work. Some of these times these ideas that you're working on are just, they don't work, but you got to try them. And I've been lucky in that I would say I've been doing this long enough that maybe 75% of the time the client will pick what I come up with more so than what they told me they were looking for. So that's the nice thing about it. Anyway, that's that on that. So hopefully that helps a little bit. I don't know if it does or not, but it's another concept for you. Okay, so now let's, you know what? I just, did I actually show you? I guess I did. Hopefully I was showing you the crop. I don't remember if I did or not. Okay, so let's go to the next one. The next one, now this is one... This one bothered me a lot. I got to tell you. Let's see. I'm sorry. This was PS. Is this who submitted this one? Is this right? Yeah, PS submitted this one. And I got to tell you, the reason is I really... Ooh, I'm so sorry. Excuse me. I really like the image, but there's something about it that that was missing for me. And I wasn't sure what it was. And... I hate to admit this, but it kind of kept me up last night. I'm sitting tossing and turning, trying to fall asleep, thinking about this one image because there's so much potential there, but I couldn't come up with a really good suggestion to solve your problem. So here's what PS said. So here's what the purpose of this shoot was, this pose. It's this again a stylized photo, posed as shop. And they wanted to convey that women are just as handy as cowgirls as men are as cowboys. The saddle weighs at least 45 pounds, by the way, if you guys have ever dealt with this. And this woman is a very small frame, but yes, she can manage it effortlessly. So the point was you're trying to show the strength, the effort, and the fact that she can handle this saddle, even though it was a 45-pound saddle. Great, great idea. I love the concept. And this goes back again to what I was saying earlier about Ansel Adams, where he's talking about a sharp image and a fuzzy concept. I think you've nailed the concept here, and that's the cool thing about this. So I love what you're trying to accomplish. I just don't know if you've done it or not, and that's what I was struggling with, because it seems to me there's more that could be done here. And I'm just not, and I couldn't come up with a really good suggestion, and that's what was frustrating for me. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's see here. Let's go back to this, right? Okay, so first of all, I love the pose. I love the styling. Again, the scarf, everything looks really, really good. Great job on that. But there's still something about it that's, I don't know what it is, and it's bothering me. So you could have gone a little tighter, I think, and still, this could have easily been a lifestyle shoot, you know? I think, and that still works to me. Still show, again, I assume part of the fashion is part of the, because they're all wearing the same scarf. I assume this is part of that. You can still see she's got a tough saddle there. I like that she's not looking into the camera, that she's looking off, into the, you know, off camera. But there's still something about it that's not quite right, and I don't know what it is. And I'm trying to figure out how you would still show the strength. I thought about maybe her, if you could hold it over her shoulder, because, you know, that would be one way to do it maybe. Or if she just was holding the saddle, or maybe getting ready to lift the saddle up, if it was on a sawhorse or it's kind of a mount, and she was getting ready to lift the saddle up, that might also show the strength, the potential of that. So anyway, that was my dilemma with this photo. It's one of the ones that, of all the ones that were submitted, I had the biggest trouble with, because I like it and I think there's potential there, but I couldn't come up with a better suggestion. So hopefully, P.S., I'd love to hear what your thought on that is, and if you agree or you think the photo worked or not. But anyway, good job on that one. And sorry about that. It really just kind of was one that threw me off more so than some of the others did. Okay, so the next photo is from, let me pull this up here. Okay, this one is from RC, and RC has been shooting like a year. It's amazing, I think, what a great job they do here on this thing. And RC says that, I didn't write this down, but I remember reading it, that they were trying to demonstrate their culture and their background. And I think this is a phenomenal image. I think you've nailed this on so many levels. The first one is obviously color. I mean, you've really, and also lines. The color is fantastic. It really works in the color chart and the color spectrum. If you were to lay this out in a complementary color, or actually a opposing color, the orange or the kind of the brownish tones and the red are really, really nice, work together. At first, I was wondering about maybe the shadow on the right-hand side, but that doesn't bother me at all. I think it actually works because it draws you right to that person, more so than if there was nothing there. The leading lines, of course, definitely work. There's texture in the image, and that works as well. Just an excellent image on this thing, on this part, and you could even crop it and work. It could work as a horizontal, or it could work as a vertical. But great eye on this one. Good job. Nice pose all the way around. Good job on this one. So RC, I applaud you on this one. Nice job. It's a very impressive photo. I mean, this could be used on any kind of ad or a lifestyle. So anyway, good eye, of course, which you always, I know you have a great eye, and you're really talented. So this certainly shows through. So unfortunately, I don't have a whole lot more to critique on this one. Just a good job. So thanks very much for submitting this. And I think it not only helps you, it helps other people. So, okay. This one here was submitted by NA, and NA's been shooting about 5 years or so, and I know them, and they love macro photography, and they're very good at it. And I also really like this picture too. Good job on this picture. Composition wise, it really works because if you look at a rule of thirds, you didn't just put them in the middle. It's and also the vertical line there really works on creating the subject and giving them the viewer something to look at. and something to draw their attention to. So good composition on that. Nailed the focus, of course, on that. You can't argue with the color. The color's beautiful. Really nice contrast of colors, too. That red and kind of the orange of the insect against that green background is really, really nice. So good job on this one. Again, I'd say this one also utilizes really good space, negative space on the right-hand side. Negative space can denote a loneliness to a subject, and having this single insect there on the left-hand side on that vertical line is a really, really nice setup there. So good job. Good job on that one. And so you guys are great. You know, what am I going to do here, by the way? So you guys are getting so good that I'm going to have to abandon this show because I'm not going to have anything to critique you guys on. You're getting better and better as we go, and I'm thrilled to see it. But every week I can see the work is just improving. It's so wonderful to see. So you guys are great. Thank you very much. Warms my heart to see you guys. So now here's another. This is another one that I had a little bit of problem with at first. Okay, and then I started looking at it and examining it. So at first, okay, this one was submitted by GD. No, they've been shooting 1 to 2 years. And at first I was like, well, what's the deal here? It's kind of boring. But then the more I started looking at it, the more I realized that's not the case. This is really a story here, and that's what this is all about. This could easily be an ad for a product, for if there was a in the background there, or if there was a cake mix box or something like that. This could easily been an ad for a mother, daughter, or something like that, showing her how to cook, how to bake. And the expression on the young girl's face is just, priceless. You can't, how can you argue with that? So the more I looked at it, the more I thought this is really a good image, and you've done a good job on this. Could be maybe a tad looser, but other than that, not a big deal. I think it's just a good shot. There's some, you could pick on some of the technical aspects, maybe a tad, a little bit, maybe as far as being really picky, maybe third of the stop over, maybe a half, maybe a third of the stop probably. But anyway, it's just overall, it's a good picture, has emotion, and it shows the help there of the young lady to behind her. So I think there's a good story here. Nice job. So, way to go, GD. Now, this is also submitted by GD. This one, in my opinion, is a reject. I don't understand this image. It doesn't really speak to me. There's not much of a story. And I'll be honest with you, I have a little bit of a problem with people in empty fields. I don't get that whole as a background. So on this one, I'd say, not much going on here. So this one you probably don't want to put in your portfolio. I'm sure it has meaning to you, but there's not much going on. So this one doesn't do much, and there's just no story there. You could crop it, if there's less sky, more foreground. If you were to tilt down, make the foreground more prominent to draw the viewer to the scene. That would help a little bit composition-wise, but still, looking at their backs like this, walking into an empty field doesn't have much of a story to it. So keep working on that one. Okay, this is an interesting one. This was submitted by D, and D didn't put their last name on there, so I don't know who they are, and they didn't give me any information on this. So it's just it's an interesting photo. There are some things that are working for it and some things that need some help. I'd say that it's definitely got some leading lines going on there, and it also obviously has some color and texture. So there's some things that work there. I would also say that maybe some form, having the form of the shape there at the top helps, but really that's probably more so, I'd say it's more of a leading line kind of a thing. Now on this, the problem I think, and where it falls apart, is in the top where you've got there. So let me pull this up here real quick. I think it's this one right here. Yeah. Okay. So on this one, I think the problem where it falls apart is this here distracting this line in the top. And other than that, it's not a bad image. It's there's some emotion going on there. He's obviously getting ready to speak. So I just did a real quick, just took this out, nothing fancy. But if you take that out, now you see it's a much stronger image. So you could have done that, D, when you were shooting, just by moving over a little bit. If you could, you're probably too low, because this is a good example of shooting down a little bit, where, you know, it makes the person look a little stronger. And that was the other thing, by the way, I meant to mention. I'm sorry, that was where I wanted to talk about that before too. Hang on here, let me go back real quick. This one here would also, and these two, again, I was going to mention this earlier, sorry. If you were to just get down just a little bit, not much on these, but 6 inches maybe, but you could have tried a few. That would, because you were trying to make them look stronger and more powerful, I would have gotten down a little bit on my, a little bit lower angle and shot up on them a little bit. That would have given them that strength and more of that what you're trying to accomplish. Same thing on this one right here. Whoops. On this one right here, you could, this one's pretty good though. You've got a little bit of that. You're not quite at eye level. You're just a little bit below that. So this one's not too bad, but I definitely would have tried to do that a little bit on this one to make them a little stronger, a little more powerful looking. And I've done that for me because I photograph a lot of sports figures and things like that, CEOs. Then I will, that's exactly what I'll do. I'll kind of get down just a little bit, shoot up on them, and it always makes them appear a little bit stronger, a little more powerful. And you could have done the same thing here. So anyway. Let's see. So we're back to this one again. So again, I would have suggested maybe removing that background, so a little distracting, and that would have enhanced the leading lines a little bit. Not a bad picture. Not bad. I don't know what's going on here, but it's still, that would have been the one thing that would, I think, made the image a little bit stronger. Okay. So any comments here? Okay. So, okay. Okay, here's another one. This one came, let's see what the deal with this one was. Find my notes here. Sorry, I got too many, not enough screens. Believe it or not, 5 monitors is not enough. This one here was from JA. JA's just getting started, and they've been shooting like a year or less. And this was they're just experimenting, they said, with ISO and shutter speed in low light situations. I'm not sure the low light, because it seems like there's plenty of light there, but I think you've got some stuff going for you here. I think it works. You could probably make it a little stronger by doing a little bit of cropping on the image, but it's not too bad. I mean, by putting them on the right-hand side of the picture, like you did, or excuse me, left-hand side of the picture, normally you don't want people looking at a frame. You can do that. It's more common nowadays than it used to be. But it tends to add tension if that's what you're trying to do. But because she's moving, then I think, or he and she is moving, that is okay, that you've got this space, the space on the right hand side. But you could also, if you were to take this and bring it down just a little bit, I think that brings it a little stronger, because it not only gives you a rule of thirds here, okay, see, like here, but also here across the horizontal lines as well. So, but I think it's not bad, you know, if you're just for shooting a year and a half and you're just getting started, it's pretty good. I like the expression on the face, like the stick in the hand, you know, and so yeah, keep going on that. Again, You could have come down just a little bit on the eye line, and you're not too bad, though. You've gotten better. This is better than most people would do. You're kind of shooting almost at eye level. You could have come down just a little bit more if you wanted, but still, good job. No complaints there. Way to go. So, all right. Let's see here. So yeah, I agree, Brian. That's pretty cute. Brian likes that picture. Let's see here. Okay. All right. So I think I have, that's 10. I think I have one more. Let's see here. What else we got? Okay. So here's another one. This one is from CB. And CB says the reason behind this photo was they were escaping a hitman. No, just kidding. If you recognize this, this is, of course, from Hitman game as well as the movie. And the characters had a barcode on the back of their head. And they wanted this, CB wanted to show the character's face as well as the marking on the back of the head. And I think it does a good job because it's also, what's cool about this is you don't really need to see that they're in focus in the mirror. And so I think this definitely is a good image. It works. Again, it's got great lines. It's got great values, meaning light tones and dark tones. Good texture on the wall makes it stand out, of course, and of course the spacing between it. I think it works. Good image on this one, CB. So nice image on there. Okay. All right. Let's see here. I think that's all the images that I have. Okay. So, I got one other thing here. Hang on. So, any comments or questions on the photos, if it was your photo or not your photo, before I move on to anything else? Looks like that's about it. Okay. So, I have one other thing here. See if I can find it. Here we go. Like all of those selected as Photo Mentor Artist of the Month, this month's artist is also creative, motivated, and talented. Along with their creativity, this person also has a strong sense of storytelling and imagination. My guess this is in part due to the genre of photography they specialize in. Now, to be honest, when I first heard of this genre of photography, I was skeptical, which is a nice way of saying not impressed. But as I studied their work, dedication, and creativity, I admit I became a fan. This month's Photo Artist of the Month is Brian Carr. Brian photographs toys, but personally, calling these realistic collectible toys does him and his images a disservice. His ability to tell stories with these figures is a little hard to distinguish from reality. This is in part to his photography, lighting, imagination, and how he creates these realistic situations. So, help me in congratulating Brian Carr as Artist of the Month for May 2022. As with all the Photo Mentor artists, Brian will receive a one-to-one coaching session on any topic he chooses, as well as a $100 gift certificate. Brian, thanks for your passion and contribution to the Photo Mentor community. So, Brian has been somebody that I've followed for a while now, and like I said, I was honest about that. When I heard he photographed toys, I was like, toys? Really? Give me a break. What, toys? Come on. But then I started looking at his work, and I was really, really impressed. And the stuff I showed you is not anywhere near the level of work he's done. His lighting continues to improve as well. and he's really gotten good at that. And the lighting is the key. And he's done some fine art work as well. But anyway, I just want to applaud you, Brian. I think you're doing an amazing job. And just keep at it. I think you definitely have a future ahead of you if you want to continue in this area. I think it's a niche that's not well done. Not very many people are doing it. And so I think if you want to do this as a career, I think you've got some talent there and also some opportunities. So, anyway, way to go, Brian. Good job, buddy. And, thanks very much. And, we'll be sending you Sue Ann will be getting in touch with you as well, and but I'll be getting in touch with you and arrange to send you that gift certificate. So anyway, good job. So congratulations. Let's see. I think that's about it. Unfortunately, I don't have anything else for you guys. Sorry. You guys, great job though. Really a lot of great images tonight. Thank you very much. Remind you, please subscribe if you don't mind. I hate to beg, but it does help. We show up in the algorithm, and it's nice to see the numbers and nice to know you. It also, you get an alert showing that when we're going live, so that'd be nice. And if you also, if you're not getting the newsletter, I'd consider signing up at Photo Mentor Academy. You can do that on the front page, or you can do, if you just want to do the newsletter, you can go to photomentoracademy.com/newsletter and put your name and email there. The next one's going out, I think, on Thursday. So sign up now. Don't miss that when it's on the, has to do with the 7 elements of design that we were talking about. So anyway. Again, I am Lee Love, Photo Mentor, and listen, thank you very much for joining us. I really do appreciate every one of you. You're amazing. Just a reminder, so you probably don't, if you're a regular, you might know or be aware that I've got a little bit of a hiatus I'm taking here. Unfortunately, it's not a vacation. I wish it was, but it's allowing me to work on some more in-depth content for you guys. Like I'm working on a posing guide for you because a lot of people have trouble with posing. I'm working on more in-depth lighting and also a whole series on learning to see. And that's the reason that I'm taking a little bit of time from doing the show every week. It's not because I'm out, sipping mint juleps and watching the sunsets. Unfortunately, in fact, I'm working harder now than ever. So anyway, but that's okay. I don't mind. And hopefully you guys will appreciate the rewards of what I'm working on. So anyway, I guess that's it. Thanks very much. And listen, have a great week.